Today we are checking out an interaction I had with Police Table at San Diego Comic-Con in 2022. You may be asking yourself, why are the police recruiting at a comic convention? And I still have the exact same question even in 2024. Especially armed with the knowledge that many people who are or who want to be cops are such avid fans of characters like the Punisher, who is an avid corrupt cop killer, or Judge Dredd, who is a satirical take on cops, being judge, jury, and executioner in not only the time it was written, but especially nowadays. The irony is not lost on me. The first thing I want to bring to your attention is how when the angry citizens confront me at the beginning, Officer Senior takes a long, hard look at the femme-presenting citizens behind. And right in front of their husband, nonetheless. Disgusting in my opinion, but I digress. This situation is something you deal with occasionally. The best thing to do, in my opinion, is politely engage and try to inform citizens of what you are doing and why you are doing it. In situations like this, where they have the boot firmly lodged in their throat, I find it best to have fun with them. If you don't feel comfortable engaging, then don't. Just ignore them. If you can, move to a new vantage point to film. The majority of bystanders are like this couple and are harmless. Very few people are an actual threat. My favorite part is when I quote the police statistics about domestic violence and they have no response and walk away. Now, let's observe Officer Senior's intimidation mannerisms and behavior. Purpose of this video. I found this interaction to be interesting and funny, so I wanted to share with you and see what we can learn from this experience. The first thing that happens is me approaching the first officer I saw and ask for their name and identification number. Cops in San Diego rotate badge numbers as officers come and go, so the only way to ID one properly is with their ID number. He confusingly says his name is on his chest, assuming everyone he meets knows how to read. More so, this is a violation of SDPD policy for self-identification 9-19. After asking for about a minute, he finally caves and identifies himself. Also, at around 1 minute into our interaction, he decided to walk at me in a showcase of him trying to use his size and authority to intimidate me. This tactic has been discussed before in a video and will surely come up again. He could have easily walked around, as I point out in the video, several times, but chose instead to stand right next to me, unmasked, breathing in my face. Speaking of faces, you can see at this point he is over having to deal with me, but is stuck at his table and can't leave. One could surmise he chose this moment to try and use intimidation tactics, saying things like, "I need you to move." Like any good cop watcher, I stood my ground and did not concede to this tyrant. I was not given a lawful order, and I was on public property despite him claiming it was his space. This is another psychological tactics Leos do to citizens to attempt to control us. It wasn't until after a full 7 minutes that Leo Sr. made the right choice and walked away and drank more of what I assume is his pre-workout supplement. Once Senior steps away, I start reciting more facts and statistics to Officer Martinez, and she has no idea what to say. She stood there speechless until around 9.5 minutes into the interaction when 4 more clothed SDPD officers showed up to harass me. They luckily identified themselves right away, unlike Senior, who wanted to play some sort of game. Only one acted in any professional manner, as he had talked to me the day prior when I was there to protest the homophobic street preachers that had set up to preach their hate at nerds trying to enjoy the convention after spending hundreds of dollars to immerse themselves and fall out of reality for a few hours. Instead, they had Ruben Israel, rest in piss loser, yelling at them through a microphone in a safe space protected by cops. Anyway, he waved off the other officers while incorrectly describing my intentions for being there and filming. He did this by describing me as a person filming, hoping to incite something from the officers, which could not be further from the truth. He did, however, give me a phone number to file a complaint on Officer Senior before I left. Internal Affairs didn't do anything with it, but do they ever? Lastly, let's talk about me asking for a supervisor and them giving me the runaround. I wanted to leave, but before doing so, I wanted to file a complaint on Officer Senior. But in order to do that, in person, I needed a sergeant on the scene. I asked 2 different officers who at first can't get their story straight. At first, the cop on the scooter was the person in charge. Then he said he wasn't, with a mouth full of food. How rude. Then he clarified that he's the supervisor for the Comic-Con, but is not the supervisor of the officers I was talking to. It took forever to finally get a clear answer. Finally, to get rid of me, he Googles the IA number and hands me a piece of paper with it on it. At this point, I'm tired of all the bullshit, so I finally stop recording, leave, and go home to upload the original video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this long-form video deep diving into a cop watch I found to be both informative and fun. I've been enjoying writing and editing this type of content over the last few months, and I plan to do more. Please let me know what you think in the comments. What do you want to see more of? Until next time, always film the police.